Hey y'all, my name's Becca. I just needed to get something off my chest because I've been in a rehab the last 31 days and I'm actually out in the real world. So I was in rehab for heroin addiction. I was addicted the last year and a half, but my main problem that I had was my addiction to Xanax bars from 2012 to 2020. I was mainly focusing on learning from that more than the heroin withdrawal because the heroin withdrawal was nothing like the shit I went through from the fucking Xanax withdrawal. It was how do I explain it? It's like a sneeze, only lasts 2 seconds compared to the shit that I went through that lasted for 5 years. And it's really hard to talk about. This is the first time I'm really talking about it because this shit is it fucked me up mentally, disturbed me. I was going through some really bad shit, but let me tell y'all the story. Starting in 2012, I just fucking got out of high school. I started working. My homegirl, my best friend, she, you know, introduced me to Xanax. In high school, I was doing hydros, smoking weed, but, I was stealing my hydros from my parents, getting the weed from my dad. And I wasn't really an addict, I was just doing it every once in a while, be once a month type of shit. And right after I got out of high school and started working, she had introduced me to Xanax, and my tolerance was nothing back then. So I was taking bar here and there for a little while. I wasn't really consistently taking bars, but in 2014, okay, yeah, that's a 2 year span. Okay, so I was kind of, I was somewhat addicted during the 2 years, but in 2014, that's when it really started to go downhill. This guy I fucking started dating at my work, got together. He started selling Xanax bars. So we were getting a lot at a time, and I remember I started taking 3 to 4 bars, which is 6 to 8 milligrams at a time. I was taking that 2 other times a day. So it's up to 24 milligrams a day. I was fucked up. And so it's hard to talk about because fucking this is really the first time I'm really talking about it, just because it's so fucking crazy. I can't repeat it to another person type of shit. The shit I went through. You sound fucking crazy just talking about it, but I'll get to that in just a minute. But sorry, my mind went blank. I'm just trying to remember. So I was taking 24 milligrams a day, and it was around November, end of November. I was realizing, I was dude, I'm going really hard right now. I'm doing too much. I'm blacking out. I ain't remembering shit. I was fucked up all the time and not remembering anything the day before, at all. It was getting really bad. And so, I didn't do any research on it just because, it wasn't really, I never really knew there was withdrawal or anything from coming off of Xanax. And so, December 1st of 2015, I was I'm not going to take any more Xanax. And so I fucking stopped. I went from 24 milligrams to 0 in 12 hours. And that was the start of a living fucking hell. No fucking bullshit, man. The symptoms were I can't even fucking, I don't even know where to fucking begin, dude. I hadn't slept in it was total 25 days before I had my first seizure. Let me just I had my first seizure on Christmas morning in 2015. But during that time, the 25 days before that, I was going through some fucked up shit, dude. I was fucking, I literally had no emotion. I fucking was feeling electricity go through my body a lot. I realized it was my nerves at the time, I was just dude, I feel fucking electric. My brain fucking, it's having brain zaps and shit too. I could, it was I didn't realize, like, at the time, like, it was from, like, withdrawal. I don't know. I was like, this is, like, my first time being sober. And this, I thought it was, like, I don't know. I thought it was normal, I guess. So I wasn't really taking it as serious as I should have. But, like, I fucking was completely out of it. I thought shit was happening that wasn't really happening. I fucking called 911. Some of my friends called 911 for some shit. Like, I thought I fucking, like, had burned down, like, this fucking section of my work, like, the street path. Like, I really thought I did it. Like, and I fucking called 911. I couldn't, like, tell them what was happening. Like, I didn't want them to sound like I was fucking crazy. I knew I was fucking crazy. I knew something was wrong. Like, I just didn't. I don't know. I don't know how to fucking explain it, man. Like, this shit was fucking rough. Like, I have some visual shit that, like, I cannot, like, repeat to y'all. Like, I thought, let me just, like, summarize it saying, like, I thought I plagued, like, everyone and fucking went through some, like, disturbing shit that I really thought was, like, I'll say some parts, like, I thought I was, like, in a forest type of shit, living out there, and it was, like, fucking hell. Like, everything was, like, dying. I don't know. Y'all, like, I really thought that was happening. Like, I was completely fucked up in the head. And then, like the week before I had my first seizure, I was like twitching really fucking bad. Like, it would go from like once a minute to like every like 5 seconds type of shit. Like, my arms would spaz out, my legs would spaz out. Like, I like couldn't talk. Like, I was just like completely out of it. I couldn't think. I couldn't fucking do anything. And I'll have like episodes where I'll be like chilling and I'll fucking freak out, fucking cry, get mad. Like, I was like in this weird cycle. Like, what the fuck? That ain't me, like, at all. um, it was just like so much going on with me. Like, I remember I heard like my ex-boyfriend's dad saying he got Hep C. He specifically said he got it from a needle after he had my boyfriend, but like my mind was so fucked up. I thought like, he like, I was convinced he had Hep C and gave it to my boyfriend, and then I had it. Like, I was telling I went to my like GP, like, that I've had for years, and he was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Like, what's going on here? You ain't making any sense." Like, like, and I was like, "I want the Hep C." Like, I was like saying like, I was saying like, I need like the shot to cure the Hep C or whatever, and they're like, "What the fuck?" Like, they were tripping out. Like, he was like, "What the fuck's going on with you? Like, you're super fucking out of it." And then like at the end, like, he really sat me down. He was like, "Do you want this?" I was like, "No." Like, my bad. I like tripped out. Like, it was, I don't know, like, I have anxiety just like talking about it because it's just so much. Like, it's fucking insane. Like, I've never repeated that to someone. I'm telling y'all, just because I'm sure if you look this up, you're going through the same shit I'm fucking talking about. Like, and y'all totally understand that shit. Y'all are like the one of the 1% out of like fucking everyone that knows what the fuck I'm talking about. And after that, like, I went home and everything, and talked to my dad, and my dad, like, he's very laid back. He understands shit. My mom is not. Like, I could not talk to my mom about this. I talked to my dad about this, and he fucking knows about addiction. Like, he was popping pain pills and shit. Not like a bad, he was prescribed it, but like, he understood like what I was talking about, and he fucking ordered like all this shit from like, like natural remedies and shit. Like, I was on a bunch of GABA medicine. I was on a bunch of like fucking antidepressants, like mood swing shit. Like, then I had insomnia. Like, I was fucking mentally disturbed. Like, no bullshit. And like, when I was talking to them at the rehab place, like, I was just telling them, I'm like, dude, this heroin shit, going to get off this ain't nothing compared to fucking the shit I went through the first fucking 8 years of my drug addiction. Like, y'all. Like, this heroin shit was fucking a piece of cake. Just sick for a week. Like, they had fucked up my Subutex too. Like, like irritable, like, muscle pain. Like I was like yawning a lot, very tired, could not walk around, had no appetite, like I had pretty bad heroin withdrawal. I was coming off of a gram. I was doing like a 3-1, let's just say like $120 worth a day. I was able to afford it. I've been working the past like 4 months, and I started doing heroin like in 2018. I'm sorry, 2020. I'm sorry, 2021. My brain. I'm barely gonna learn my brain again. Fucking 2021, because I had became pregnant. Before that, like I found out in like, what was it, July of 2020, I was pregnant. And fucking, like I wasn't on like heroin or bars really. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Like with the protracted withdrawal, like, I was taking bars every once in a while. Like I wasn't like going on like a binge or anything. I would take like 2 to 3 bars at like a time. And then like fucking, I think I'd be okay for a couple days, and then like fucking I start going through like the fucking crazy withdrawal again. Like just from like a day, like, just taking like 4 to 6 milligrams. Like, I wasn't taking 24 milligrams, but I was taking a lot still, because if I took just like fucking 4 milligrams, it wouldn't have any effect on me. So I would be taking 3 or 4 again, like I was back then, but I wasn't doing it 3 times a day because like I didn't need to do that, because I was already good. Like I was already fucked up, and then I'll be like feeling normal. I wasn't really in the withdrawal phase. I was still like feeling the effects, like, the next day when you take bars, like you still feel good. That's how I was like the first 2 days. And then after that, like it would last like up to like a week. Like I'll have like a seizure at least one time a week. But the rest of the time, like I was fucking in withdrawal like waves. Like I'd be all right, and then I would like fucking be in withdrawal. Like it was fucking crazy, and I thought I was like fucking, like, dude, like people felt sorry for me, like at my job, because like they see the shit I go through, and that's like fucking humiliating. Like not humiliating, but like, dude, like it's so embarrassing because you just sound like you're fucking crazy and you don't know why. Like it's crazy. Like I learned so much past 30 days like about this shit. Like, because I never really talked about it to anyone, and my counselor was like fucking, she specializes in Xanax addiction. She's been there too. Like she wanted to hear what the hell I was talking about, because she didn't go through that shit. Like she knew how to like taper off and everything. And like telling her how much I was taking and what happened. Like she was fucking interested. Like she learned a lot from it. She was like, man, you're fucking blessed to be here. Like I've had at least like 20, not 20. I feel like I'm saying that's a lot. Like 15 seizures, like the paramedics have came. And like, I don't realize I had a seizure. Like I'm fine 1 minute, next thing you know, like I fucking have paramedics around me. They're like, yeah, you had a seizure. I'm like, no, I didn't. What the fuck you talking about? Like, yeah, that was like part of the pause shit. Like, I know I've had seizures like at night, like because I couldn't sleep, and like I would have periods of like intense shaking, like it's like I was going through the severe withdrawal like I did the first time, like 25 days I stopped and then had my first seizure, which was like triggered by like a real, like a life event that happened. Like my ex-boyfriend's like ex-girlfriend showed up to the house, and like I got extremely fucking overwhelmed. Like I was so pissed off. Like, dude, like it's like my nerves came together. Like, I was off of work and everything during that time. Like I could not work. Like, I had to be at home. I was like a fucking zombie, dude. And no one had like seen me outside the house. And then like she came with like some other people, and like it just fucking overwhelmed me so much, and it fucking made me go into like like that was like the huge seizure I had, like where it like happened like 1 a.m. on Christmas morning. Like, it was like Christmas Eve when like it was like super bad. Like that's like the final point. Like that's where I was like fucking totally like dead out of it. Like I should not have, dude. I went through some shit, man, and like fucking I had the seizure like at 1 a.m. and I didn't wake up till like 4 p.m. Christmas Day, and I had a tubes down my throat, and like I just remember vaguely them saying like, don't go back to sleep type of shit. Don't go back to sleep, because I was very sleepy. and like my parents were there. I remember vaguely like what was going on, and like they picked me up, and I was like fucking 40 minutes away because like it was Christmas morning and I saw a neurologist. Like it was the only neurologist there was. So they had taken me like to the outskirts of Dallas, like somewhere in Las Colinas. And fucking I don't remember much, but like I remember the car ride home, there were like no cars, and I thought like this was like the apocalypse. Like it was crazy. My parents were like it's Christmas morning, like there's no one out here, but like since it was like real, like it was actually happening, there were no cars on the highway. Like I was convinced I like fucking killed everyone. Like dude, dude, the mental shit I went through was fucking ridiculous. Like I thought shit was like insane shit was really happening. Like I never talked about this except to like my counselor. Like, that's just like the past 30 days, and I've learned so much from it. Like they said I had fucking the protracted benzo withdrawal for like fucking 5 years because it started in 2015 all the way to 2020. I was having these symptoms. That's 5 fucking years, dude. Like that shit is fucking crazy. Like I was in living hell. I'm not fucking lying when I say I was in living hell. I was fucking living hell. And then like fucking 2020, when I found out I was pregnant, like, I was like, I really need to stop this. And boyfriend at the time, fucking, he knew what I've been through. Like, I was having like the seizures and fucking, I was like having seizures a lot, like randomly, like, like he like understood, like, because we had bought bars together before too, like way back in the day and stuff. Like he knew like I had a bad addiction problem and I was going through some shit. He knew not to cold turkey from bars because it can kill you. Because it has killed people. And alcohol and fucking bars like Xanax, benzos. You fucking can't just stop doing it. You will fucking go through some shit. And he knew about that, but he didn't know how severely fucked up I was. Like, I wasn't like living with him, I'd be like, I'll come stay with him for like 2 days a week, and I wouldn't be like fucked up. I wouldn't be like, going through withdrawal or anything because I had bars with me. I was taking bars, and, I'd be good like the 2 days I was there. Then after, when I come back home, I wouldn't be good, And then I was like, I need to get off this, but I need to taper myself off, like slowly, very slowly, because I can't go through that fucking. I needed to do it correct this time. And then, like, he fucking ended up getting me off the Xanax, like, fucking, like, January, like, 3rd of 2021, like, a month before I was due. And I was good at, like, fucking passing my drug test. It only drug tested me, like, the fucking first 2 months, because I tested positive for marijuana. They said, if you don't clear it out, like, in the next drug test, like, we're not gonna take you. So I, I passed that second drug test, and so they didn't drug test me throughout my pregnancy. So I officially got off of it in 2021, and I have not had any withdrawal symptoms, like, at all. And then I fucking started doing heroin, because this is another story I don't want to talk about, but, like, basically, like, I've done cheese before, and I fucking started doing cheese, like, my boyfriend I started dating, like, I didn't know he was on heroin for, like, a few months, and then he was like, hey, and he, like, showed me these needles and shit, and I'm like, what the fuck, like, I tripped out, like, I've never been around that shit before, but, like, I never had to fear needles or anything like that either, just because I've been fucking poked so many times, like, I fucking got used to it, like, from all the doctors and hospitals, like, all the seizures and everything, like, needles didn't scare me anymore, and fucking, I was doing cheese for a few months, and this is after I had the baby, like, starting, like, in, like, October of 2021, or something like that. I started doing cheese, and then he shot me up one day, and then after that, like, I started slowly shooting myself up, and then I was doing, like, dime shots, and then before I went to rehab, I was up to, like, gram shots at a time, and the heroin rehab over here in North Dallas is not good. Like, there was fucking 6-GHB in it, which is like the date rape drug. There was morphine in it. There was meth in it, fentanyl in it, and of course, like the heroin. Like, but, like, dude, this shit was not like good heroin. And before I went to rehab, I tried taking 3 days off work to withdraw from the fucking heroin because at one point during my shooting up phase, like, we had stopped. Me and my boyfriend stopped for like 3 days. We weren't doing much heroin. We didn't have jobs or anything. Like, it was hard to get it. We were doing like dime shots, which are small amount. You know, like, I was able to get money from my dad. Like, almost, my dad spoiled me, I guess. So, like, he would fucking send money a lot. So we always had heroin for like a year. And then I started working again this past March. And that's when I was really able to afford it. Spending up to $120 a day on it. And then I was like, and then I tried taking 3 days off of work in fucking June. And I was still sick. I had Subutex. I was still sick, you know, and I had to walk to work too. Like, and it was just like, fuck, dude. Like, and I shot up and I relapsed. But I really didn't want to be on this because I was like, okay, there are like withdrawal symptoms that have like caused me not to be able to work. You know, like, it was nothing compared to the fucking, you know, the bar withdrawal at all, the Xanax withdrawal. Like, you know, it's just like, it's like a cold. Like, it's just like some bullshit. Like, you know, but since I was like pretty deep in the heroin addiction, like, I needed to take like at least like 2 weeks off of work to like get off of this completely before I'm good again. So I like went to this rehab here in Dallas called Nexus. And it took 8 days. I was only on 3 days worth of Subutex because they fucked it up. I was on like I was taking 2 milligram pills. I had 3 the first day. It caused me like fucking restless legs like a motherfucker. And I was pissed off. And I did go to sleep. I did crash out, they said. They said I crashed out and fucking, next day I was like, I don't want the Subutex. Like, it was just like, you know, like I had a really, I don't think it was that long gap. It was like 14 hours after my last shot I took before I got there. But like, you know, I wasn't too sick yet, you know, like it was still going through my system. And I think, you know, taking the Subutex like made me more sicker that first day because I wasn't like completely like in the sickness yet. Fucking, so I skipped the next day, and then doing that like fucked up my meds. So like the day after that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do like the 2 milligrams, you know, like because I am still sick, you know, like I need Subutex, like I'm fucking sick still. Like you know, I started going through actual withdrawal, and then like so I took 2, and then for some reason the next day it was like, you know, that one time a day. The next day, like they fucking said like since I like skipped a day, they're gonna skip a day on this, and so they went from the 2 milligrams the day before to just half. I'm sorry, to just one pill. And I was like, wait. I went from 3 to 2 to a half a pill. I'm sorry. I went from 3 pills to 2 pills. 3 pills, skip a day, 2 pills, and then a half a pill. Like, they fucked up. Like, they skipped the 1 pill a day and went from 2 pills to half a pill. And I was like, what the fuck? So that's only fucking 1 milligram. Like, that's like nothing. Like, I have Subutex here. They were like 54411 pills. I don't know how many milligram. I think it's at least 8. Like, I was like, I have this at home. Like, fuck. Like, I was still sick. And then, fucking, you know, like, because of a holiday, it was like the 4th of July. I went in 27th. And, like, the 4th of July saved me because it was on this Monday, I think. And I was officially stepped down from detox July 2nd. And I was not ready at all. I was still so fucking sick. And then, you know, just like the physical sickness, you know, like the vomiting and, you know, just like the stupid bullshit. Like, it ain't nothing compared, like I'm saying, like, it ain't nothing compared to the fucking Xanax withdrawal. It was a piece of cake. Like, you know, it's just like, of course I was a little irritated, you know, like, it's the first time, like, I don't know. I was like sick for already 4 days and I still had longer. I was like, fuck, like, it's just, you know, it sucked, especially not being able to eat or anything. And, you know, like on that following Wednesday, like since the 4th of July, like fucked up, like I stepped down that Saturday, so I got put like to the bottom of the list. So people had stepped down that fucking Tuesday, already moved to the new dorm. But since I was like the first people stepped down that Saturday, I was on the bottom of the list. So I didn't get moved to that Wednesday. But luckily, dude, that Wednesday I fucking woke up. I guess I fell asleep and I woke up and I fucking like felt good. I was fine. was the last of my sickness I had. I did have like yawning and teary eyes for like a few days after that, but it was nothing. Like, no body aches. I was starting to eat again, like, shit like that. But I was able to, I got out yesterday around the 12 p.m. So it's just like, dude, like rehab, like maybe if I can learn that, like, it's heroin withdrawal, like, I needed to take time off of work, and this is like a good excuse, like I need to go to rehab too. I ain't never been in 10 years, like I kicked that fucking Xanax job on myself. Like, I didn't want people to think I was crazy, so I never talked about it, like I didn't realize I needed rehab, And I went, luckily the counselor I had, she fucking like knows about Xanax addiction, and she knows, like she wanted to know about like the story I had. This is fucking crazy. Shit, like I'm just so glad that shit is over. I haven't had any fucking seizures, no withdrawal symptoms since like fucking like February 2021. Like it's just crazy. Like it's like I actually have a normal life again. Like I have normal days. Like I can talk normally now. Like y'all, I had to relearn how to write and shit. Like I fucking was brain fried. Simplest way to put it, I was brain fried, man. Like the shit I went through, like that shit lasted 5 years. That shit is a long time. It's a very long time. Very fucking long time. I thought I was gonna be crazy the rest of my fucking life type shit. But I'm really not. And it's just fucking amazing feeling. I'm so blessed to be here. I'm fucking feeling good. I can actually talk about this. Like, I've been keeping it in for so fucking long just because I thought there were like no other people that like understood the shit I was going through. Because how fucking crazy it is. Like y'all, if y'all want to try Xanax, fucking think about the long term shit. Because I didn't in the beginning. I was like, fuck it, I'll just take one, I'll be good. No, I became slowly addicted. And I got really addicted, and I went through some fucked up shit that ain't fucking worth it one bit. One bit. Like, I fucking been to hell, and I was living in hell for 5 years. Like, I can't go back to that shit, dude. There's no fucking way I can do that. I'm fucking lucky to be alive, and my brain's like fucking working again. I'm starting to remember things, and like especially getting sober like this past month, I learned a lot in rehab, dude. A lot. I feel fucking just so blessed to be here, for real. Like I didn't know there were other people like me out there. Hello to y'all. Like I fucking love y'all. Y'all understand what I'm saying. Not many people are gonna look up protracted benzo withdrawal, but this shit's real. It's real. It's crazy because, like, I knew I had pause. I knew I had pause, like, during that time. I never heard of protracted benzo withdrawal. And then, like, my counselor was like, dude, you're, like, out of the pause stage. You, like, were in this, like, protracted withdrawal. And then she was like, it's protracted benzo withdrawal. But I was talking about the Xanax. And, like, I was like, what? There's other people like me? Like, I'm not that crazy. And she's like, no, like, like, my case is very severe because it was, like, going for 5 years, It can last, I think, like, anywhere, like, 2 weeks to, like, fucking a year or so. But, like, 5 years, that's a long time for me. Going from 24 to 0 really fucked me up. Like, that's a lot. That's a little bit extreme, I would say, So I went like 25 days of like complete psychotic withdrawal. Like I was literally like, dude, I probably had fucking at least 40 symptoms. Like, dude, like I can't even begin. The list doesn't even, I don't even know where to fucking start on the list type of shit. I had so many symptoms. I was completely fucking insane. Like, I can say that, like, fucking, like, being proud, like, because I'm fucking blessed to be here right now, dude. I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky I fucking recovered from this shit. Like, like I said, it's fucking end of July of 2022 now. Like, it's been a year and, 5 months since I've had any last protracted benzo withdrawal symptom. Like, because I finally ended, like, I knew how to get off of it the right way. And it, like, my brain slowly healed up, Like, it's crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and end this video like at the 30-minute mark. But love y'all. God bless. Y'all work it because it's worth it. get off this shit the right way, for real. Don't fucking stop. Don't. You need to go into medical supervision, for real. Like, I'm not bullshitting you one bit. Don't do this on your own. You need fucking medical, like, you need a doctor with you. That's how serious this is. All right. Love you.